Let's get ready to rumble, people. After a defeat like that, we need a clear win to get some hype building again. And it is already here. It is time for our boards to surpass some limits and show us what he's got. Wano Act 4 stops for no one. Let's go. We open chapter 340 where we left off last time. Asta is standing over the bamboo he cut down in the last one thanks to his fancy new technique. And hey, fair enough. He just did something the three locals thought would be impossible. Plus, he has mastered a technique that was supposed to take years to learn on his first try. It makes sense that he would need a minute to appreciate what he had just pulled off. On the inside, Asta is still the humble little village kid. Now he has a punch that can cut magic with explosive force, and one day, maybe the weapon that shall split the heavens. Ryuya and Fumito are continuing to bask in the moment. They are both appreciative swords who take joy in other people's success, and they are very impressed with how Asta is doing. He has only just healed up, and he is back in action, and going fast at that. He's not taking it slow, building up to a return to fighting. He masters the 10, the Heavenly Severance, far faster than they ever expected. Still, they aren't going to drop the pace just yet. If Asta can get the basics down that fast, why stop there? Ryuya speaks up. The Shogun is the one leading this training session after all, so it makes sense that he'll be giving the lecture. He is happy to go into more detail about the technique. The most important thing about Severance is choosing your openings carefully. This makes sense. The whole point of the 10 is to release a ton of power with one motion. It's not something you can easily repeat. If you use it, it'll take time to recover your magic / anti-magic. If Asta is going to pull this move off in a real fight, he will need to be able to identify the perfect moment for it. This is a risky technique when you break it down. He can't miss or give Lucius time to block, or he will be on the back foot. And the best way to learn how to find an opening like that is through experience. That is, as far as Ryuya is concerned anyway. That sounds dubious, but I guess he's got a point. This is really not something you can just tell someone about. There's no book on how to recognize your opponent slipped up. You have to actually fight someone to get a sense of your foe's movements, when they let their guard down, and all that stuff. Thus, our lovable Shogun has the perfect plan for Asta. He should have a real battle. Right here, right now, going all out. He even has an opponent ready for him. Specifically, Ichika. The woman who hasn't been able to disguise her contempt for Asta this entire time. The one who keeps grabbing him by the head with a vice-like grip. You know, the lady who outright threatened to kill him in the last chapter, even putting a hand on her sword ready for it. You should totally fight her, Asta. There is no way this is going to go badly. Well, I guess we can count on her enthusiasm at least. If anyone is going to give Asta a realistic, thorough, and painful battle, Ichika is the best candidate I can think of. Plus, the other two people here are Ryuya, who has no magical power, and Fumito, who is a healer that is very timid. It's not like they've got a ton of options out here in the woods, unless one of those fish spirits from the house last time can step into the ring. And given the crowd's reaction in the last chapter to seeing Asta, bringing him back to town is probably a bad idea. Those townfolk probably have a lynch mob on standby just in case. Asta isn't exactly hyped up at the prospect of taking on Captain Yami's little sister. Just look at him in this panel. Wide eyes, all tense, he knows exactly what sort of horrible beatdown is coming his way. Our young black bull has seen many times how powerful Sukehiro Yami really is. It's a safe bet that any blood relative of his is just as deadly as the captain. There is no way Ichika has been serious with him up until this point. That's not enough to keep Asta down, however. He has faced powerful foes before. He has gotten his butt kicked before. Plus, this is ultimately just training. If he's going to get stronger, he has to be willing to take on fights like these. There's just no way he could ever say no. Still, if they're going to do this right, he has to go all out right from moment one. As such, he calls for Libe. The little guy knows what's coming, and he's just as pumped as Asta for this fight. Without another word, the two go straight into a full devil union. There is no sense in saving it during a fight like this, even if this is pretty much only sparring. And the focus use they used against Lucius was built for endurance over power. The full form is more appropriate for trying to end a fight quickly like this. Fumito gapes in awe. He has only just seen what anti-magic can do. Watching Asta code himself in it has to be shocking. Thanks to this technique, basic Yojutsu won't have a chance of hurting him. This alone puts Asta above almost every warrior Fumito has ever known. It's natural for someone meeting Asta for the first time to have this kind of shocked reaction to a move like Devil Union. Which is what makes Ichika's reaction so interesting. The younger Yami is resoundingly unimpressed by the sight of Devil Union. She has to ask Asta if he is even taking this seriously. Poor Asta confirms he is, looking a little hurt by the question. After all, this is his strongest move. It took him a lot of hard training with Libe to perfect it. Ichika is seemingly content to accept the Black Bull's word, but takes a second to clear the air. As far as she is concerned, this is indeed a real battle. Even if she is training, rather than striking to intentionally kill, she is going to give this everything she has. The whole point of Ryuya's idea is that they fight without holding back. If Asta doesn't take this seriously, he is going to die. There is a murderous glint in her eyes as she charges up the Zaten. Asta recognizes it and raises his arm to defend himself. But it is not even close to enough. Not quick enough, not strong enough. A simple palm strike from Ichika sends Asta flying backwards right through the indestructible bamboo. The fight is on. Ryuya laughs, happy to enjoy the show. It can't be every day he gets to watch Ichika take on a serious opponent. Asta is gritting his teeth in concentration. He's pretty sure he managed to blunt the force of Ichika's blow with his anti-magic. Still, it was ridiculously powerful. He can't really counter the Zaten just through Devil Union. Ichika follows close behind Asta, pushing forward. She is more than ready to attack again should she see an opening. Her speed is nothing to laugh at. She's already almost caught up with her foe. However, the Black Bull's wings have helped him stabilize his fall. Asta planted his feet against one of the bamboo stalks and was using this moment to draw Demon Slayer from his grimoire. And that is not something the warriors from the Land of the Sun have seen from him before. As Ichika closes in on her foe, Asta brings his katana out, slashing right at her. I guess he's taking real battle extremely seriously if he is drawing a blade on the woman who is fighting unarmed. Not that it does him much good. Ichika ducks beneath the blow like it is nothing, slapping Asta's hand away and stepping nimbly right past him. It's easy to focus on her strength, thanks to the Zaten letting her make powerful blows, but Ichika's true strength seems to be her speed. Even with so much ground to cover and fighting in the air, the younger Yami remains a fast combatant. Asta is not going to win this fight with one cheap shot like that. This time, the two start trading regular strikes. Or rather, Ichika starts making regular strikes. She lays into Asta with a flurry of fast blows, making him struggle to keep his defenses up. Ichika is comfortable enough with her offense. She decides to provide the Black Bull with a brief history lesson. After all, the outsider should appreciate the importance of what he's learned. The term Heavenly Severance comes from the first person to master this technique. Their Yojutsu was so powerful that when they unleashed it, they could cut the sky itself with a single attack. And to demonstrate what she means by that, Ichika charges the Zaten once again. This time, however, instead of a palm strike, she goes for a hefty kick. It is the most impressive blow we have seen from the samurai yet. This time, there is no barrier to hold her enemy back, nothing to crash into or even reduce his speed. Asta is sent spiraling through the sky, surfacing above the canopy of the bamboo forest. Only once again, this was a blunted attack. We see Demon Slasher raised, drawing in the magic that powered Ichika's blow. Asta consistently managed to limit these strikes. It stopped Ichika from making a single, quick, clean blow like she did against the bandits. This is far from an end to the fight. Instead, Ichika starts to follow Asta into the air, jumping between the bamboo stalks to reach the height of her opponent. Over in the gallery, Ryuya starts giving an explanation of this match to Fumito, slipping easily into a sports commentator-like mood. Asta's anti-magic has deeply impressed the Shogun. It is a very potent counter ability, and the young Black Bull has trained to use it well. When Asta is focused on his opponent, it is extremely tough to land a solid blow against him. However, nobody can concentrate perfectly 100% of the time. There are moments where Asta relaxes and lets his guard down. That is the chance Ichika has been aiming for with Zaten. Each enhanced blow is an attempt to end the fight. We see this play out above the canopy. Ichika goes for multiple palm strikes, trying to feel out Asta's defenses. The Black Bull stays ahead of the attacks, dodging to one side. Still, Ichika's fast enough to draw close to Asta. Since her strikes aren't working, she goes for a throw instead. She doesn't use the severance with this move, but it is still strong. More than enough to send Asta falling hard and fast towards the ground. Ryuya keeps talking during all of this, sharing his thoughts with Fumito. The Shogun thought carefully about Asta's training and what he needs to understand. Just like Ichika is focusing on Asta's moments of weakness here, Lucius will do the very same during a rematch. The Wizard Emperor is not going to let any chance to win the fight get past him. He is utterly ruthless. He will go for whatever opening he can get. But using this approach gives Asta his best chance against the oldest Socrates. Even Asta is going to have trouble against the Purified Devil Host's super powerful time and soul magic. So instead of trying to equal that power, Asta just needs to fend him off and play for time until he gets that opening. And we see Ichika put that idea into practice. She is chasing Asta through the air. The two are above a river at this point, a massive raging stream with multiple waterfalls. The force of their fighting has taken them a long way from the starting point. Now they are deep inside the bamboo forest. Asta is crashing down towards the water, but his mind is still on the fight with Ichika. He is ready for a guard. Unfortunately, she is closing in fast. We see the Zaten light flash in the samurai's eye, and her hand goes for her sword hilt. It's clear she is ready for another devastating attack. If she actually draws her blade, the Yaijutsu slash would be devastating. It is an utterly terrifying moment, something no one would ever want to be on the other side of. Asta doesn't have much time left, but he brings up Demon Slasher to block. It's one desperate defense that is his only chance of protecting himself here. But that was a mistake. Time seems to freeze for Asta and Ichika in that moment, the two staying suspended in the air over the raging river. Bamboo to either side of them. At first, it seems like Asta pulled it off. Ichika's sword has gone wide of him. Even with Asta's counter, he has had to back away. And that finally gave Ichika the opening she needed. She follows her sword strike up with another powerful kick, the full force of her heavenly severance colliding with Asta's torso. She juked him out. Ichika put her energy into her leg rather than her sword arm. Toshi Yoriyagi would be proud. This is the blow that ends the fight. For the first time, the samurai has landed a hit on our hero with her full strength. And the difference from those prior blows is telling. She skips Asta across the river like a stone, before sending our lead flying back into the bamboo. While before only a narrow handful of stalks had given way when Ichika knocked him into the forest, this time, his passing is downright explosive, tearing through the wood. Funnily enough, this last attack has taken the pair back to where they started. They have seemingly fought this entire battle in one gigantic circle. Ryuya and Fumito are looking over at the fallen Asta, a bit put out. The Shogun chides the pair of warriors. Did they have to go and make a flashy explosive mess like this? After all, someone's gonna have to go and clean it all up. Neither Ichika nor Asta are listening. The samurai silently walks over to her fallen foe. Asta's mind is racing. His heart has to be going a mile a minute. Ichika's strength was overwhelming throughout that fight, let alone when she used the Zaten. With this level of raw power, Devil Union doesn't really matter. It wasn't even close to enough to close the gap between them. He is sweating, tired, clearly beaten. It is clear Asta has lost this fight. We see the light start to go out of his eyes. Everything is going dark. He is losing consciousness, which to be fair is pretty reasonable. Asta just took a ridiculously powerful kick right to the torso. Any sane person should be on the ground right now, completely exhausted. But Asta is made of sterner stuff. Ichika just looks on, her face carefully neutral as the Black Bull pulls himself upright by sheer force of will. Of course he's not done. Asta wouldn't go down in one hit like that. He's a pillar of determination. Plus, he needs to know more about this strength. He can't give up here. It is time for Asta to surpass his limits and get back into the ring and show everyone what he can really do. Or normally it would be. But today is reality day. Instead of letting her foe take a breath or actually try to rejoin the fight, Ichika slams his head right into the ground. Even Fumito and Ryuya, her supposed friends, are in shock at that level of viciousness from her. Ichika doesn't notice their reaction, however. She's too busy glaring at this now very unconscious Asta. Spare me your blustering nonsense, you fool. This is such a harsh reaction that even the laid-back Ryuya calls it out. The Shogun gives everyone a lot of freedom, but even he thinks Ichika overdid it with that over-the-top beatdown. Asta was already beaten. There was no need to slam his head into the ground. However, Ichika does not budge. This was supposed to be a real battle. From her perspective, it was entirely appropriate to end it as decisively as possible. Plus, there was an even more important concern. Asta was annoying her. So yeah, everyone, make sure Ichika never hears what Asta sounded like early on in the anime. Otherwise, she might straight up kill him. Ryuya is taken aback for a moment by just how scary his assistant is. He might have crazy foresight powers that show him events all across the world, but even he is frightened at the idea of getting on Ichika's bad side. Still, he points out that Asta staying up like that is an impressive feat in its own right. Not many people can take a full power hit from Ichika and remain conscious. Apparently, in the land of the sun, Ryuya can only think of a few who might be able to pull this off. Ichika glares. She likely sees the truth in Ryuya's words. It ultimately took her 3 uses of the Zaten to take down Asta. The whole point of the technique is that it is supposed to be a one-hit KO. This level of endurance is extremely impressive. However, Ichika is not in the mood to admit that. She is still annoyed at Asta for trying to join the fight a second time. She's not in the mood to give him any kind of credit. Still, Ryuya keeps going in this vein, grinning like a madman. As far as he's concerned, this just proves he's right. Asta's got far more potential in him. They just have to keep training the young Black Bull, pushing him to the greatest heights they can. We close chapter 340 with Ichika snapping at her boss to stop laughing, while Asta lies on the ground, out cold. As the caption informs us, Lucius is still a long way from being defeated. So yeah, that was a fight and a half. Yami Ichika is a goddamn monster thanks to Heavenly Severance. Asta's got a long way to go before he catches up with her, and I have to wonder what the next step in his training will be. Additionally, I want to ask you guys a question. How do you feel about how powerful Ichika is? Because I mean, I expected her to be strong, but to be able to take on Devil Union mode Asta and take him down like she did, it's kind of crazy. Like, does she solo Lucifero or what? What is the power scaling looking like in the Land of the Sun right now? If you have any thoughts in regards to that, please let us know in the comments down below. As always, I'm Slice of Otaku. Thank you all so much for watching and have an awesome day. I love you.